needs to be pretty intensive, and we're putting the money in to back them.
Question number 10, Holly Walker.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Minister of Tertiary Education, Skills and Employment, and asks, what official advice, if any, has he received about how increasing the student loan repayment rate will impact on young families and those on low incomes?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, the official advice was that those on low incomes, say about $25,000, will be required to contribute a further $2.27 per week towards paying off their loan, and those on a more middle income of, say, $48,000 will be an additional $11.12 per week. Of course, the average student loan borrower will pay off their loan 4 to 5 months more quickly, and then they won't have to be paying those repayments any further. The unofficial advice was that using the member's own figure of a person on the average full-time wage with a tertiary qualification, that's a wage of $59,000, they would be permanently worse off under the Green Party's tax policy than under our policy of paying off their student loan faster.
Supplementary.
Holly Walker.
Was he advised that the combined effect of last year's Working for Families and KiwiSaver changes with the new 12% student loan repayment rate will be a 7.6% increase in the effective marginal tax rate for working parents with student loans? And how will that affect young families trying to save?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, no, I haven't received that particular piece of advice, but again I would point out to the member that it does feel a bit like crocodile tears when the Green Party's tax policy is designed...
Order. Now, the member got away with that first time round and not going to let him get away with it on that. The question was not provocative. It asked whether the Minister had received certain advice. Holly Walker, supplementary question.
Supplementary question. Thank you, Mr Speaker. How will the increased repayment rate affect polytechnic and other non-university graduates who don't attract the 50 to 60% income premium he referred to in an answer to an earlier question?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Mr Speaker, well, the reality is that the repayments are income contingent, so they depend on the level of income. But I would point out that somebody with a middle-level diploma or certificate at a polytechnic is likely to get a premium of 20 to 30% over somebody that doesn't achieve anything in tertiary education.
Holly Walker.
Wouldn't it make more sense for student loan repayment rates to be progressive, as they are in many countries including Australia, so that those graduates who can afford to repay their loans faster do so, while those on lower incomes have a chance to find their feet first?
The Honourable Stephen Joyce.
Well, Mr Speaker, the difficulty with just cherry-picking one part of another country's scheme is that you say, oh, well, on the one hand, we want to keep all the good parts of our scheme, and on the other hand, we want to keep the other country's scheme. If you take the Australian scheme, well, if you've got limitless money, that's, of course, a very good idea, but if you haven't got limitless money, that's not a good idea. And if the member wanted to copy the Australian scheme, then you'd have to actually CPI adjust the value of the student loans for every student each year by 3%. You also would have to ban borrowing for living costs. Now, my understanding is the member wants to make the current scheme here even more generous, and I'd say that would be just fiscally irresponsible in the current climate.
Question number 11, the Honourable Trevor Mallard.